last week we were told that women are happy, and this week we're being told that women are not happy. Hey tchotchkes, welcome back to another episode of the chachabeat. Today we are going to keep talking about women. I love talking about women. We are going to keep talking about women, and today our topic is maybe this is why many women are unhappy. I thought women were supposed to be like really happy now. Isn't that the thing? All of the studies are showing that all of these single women are like super happy. Okay, let's just get right into it because that's what you're here for.
I'm using a clip from somebody much more intelligent than myself in order to provide a premise for my own video. And the lady in question is the feminist intellectual Camille Paglia, who I'm sure many of you are already familiar with because she's very well known. I definitely wouldn't say that she and I are in the same ideological village or anything like that. I disagree with her on quite a few things. However, that said, she's well worth listening to because she provides a lot of incredibly astute insights, things that I didn't even consider. As I said, she's very intelligent despite being wrong about certain things. The clip from Camille Paglia focuses on the question of why she believes women are unhappier nowadays than they were in the past. And I actually don't believe that this is just her personal opinion. There's a lot of data backing this up. I mean, you can even just look at the number of women on antidepressants, sadly. It's so much more than there were in the past. I've heard people say a number of things for why they believe that women are unhappier nowadays than they were in the past. And this ranges from due to the prevalence of hookup culture, it leaves women feeling empty and disrespected, or women waiting too long to get married or start a family, things like that. Camille Paglia's insight is much more unapparent and profound, I would say, than these reasons, although I do think that they play a role. There are a myriad of things, many that I didn't mention as well. But we're going to go ahead and get into the clip now so we can actually start the video.
Now, I notice, wherever I go in the world, actually, that upper middle class career women are very unhappy. They're very unhappy, okay, even though they have achieved a certain status. What I'm saying is that feminists have to stop blaming men for their own unhappiness. The unhappiness is due, I believe, to huge systemic changes that women, for thousands of years, women had their own worlds. There was the world of women, and there was the world of men. And the sexes didn't have that much to do with each other, okay? This is a brand new experiment to have this new system where now women can be economically independent now. They're no longer dependent on father or husband or brother, okay, for their sustenance, right? And they're working side by side with men in the workplace, right? This is an experiment. It's never happened before, right? I was saying in the book that we may have to accept a certain amount of tension between the sexes in the workplace, right? That if the feminist idea that if we can just suppress men enough, women will be happy. I say no, okay? I say, okay, and it's on the basis of my own experience as a child in Italian-American immigrant community, okay, is that what women have lost is the old solidarity that they once had when they totally ruled the private sphere. The women's life all day long was with other women once, multi-generational, older women, okay, as well as the children, right? It was a huge tribal experience. And now what women are feeling is a sense of isolation and loneliness, disconnection, okay, from their old function. I'm not saying to go back. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying stop blaming men.
I think one of the most interesting things about what she's saying is that this is an experiment. This has never happened before. Kind of in the same way that, 15 years ago, we did not have like a computer in our pocket and GPS on our phone. Like people in their cars actually had like fold up street maps. And now like the concept of that is so far removed. Like it is as if it has always been this way. Like the concept that you used to have to, like, it just seems so inconceivable that people were even like, how did you function? You didn't have a phone in your car telling you where to go. You were following a paper map. Like it must have been wild. That sounds wild to me. But this whole scene of women kind of entering into men's world is more or less on the same timeline as GPS coming into our cars. It's only been really since probably like the 1980s, the 1990s, the 2000s, and the 2010s that women have like in colleges, and they're getting these careers, and they have mothers who also had careers. We think about it as if like it's always been this way, or at least it's been this way for a really long time, when like that's actually not true, let alone when you throw like dating apps into the situation, like how new that is. And it's like throwing gasoline on this fire. But it's kind of weird, like when you think about it, this is all brand new. It's only been about 30 years, let's say 30 years, that women have been rising up in education, in the workforce, feminism. We can vote, we can pay for stuff, and all the things. It's only been about 2-3 generations worth of women, and what it was 3 generations ago is kind of a far cry from where we're at now. But like we're talking about 30 years, when like the entire existence of human societies and social structures and the biological programming of our lizard and monkey brains, like we're talking, I don't know, hundreds of millions, billions of years, hundreds of millions of generations. And then in the last 3, something has shifted where the dynamic that always was is no longer. And then we're just like expecting people to just kind of like switch to this new norm and know exactly what to do.
Women, I really think, inherently need community with other women. And since we don't really have it in the organic way that we used to, because society is just so individualistic and atomized, we're basically gravitating towards any reason, any excuse at all to find community with one another. And this honestly could be the reason why feminism has been so successful.
I think maybe feminism is more causing women to feel isolated than women who feel isolated are going to feminism to feel a sense of community. Maybe I'm wrong. It's possible. I've been wrong before. Honestly, I think that saying that women going to feminism as a way of getting community is being generous. I think that women flock to social media as a way of feeling community, and they think that, if I have all these followers or likes on my pictures and I have the best highlight reel or whatever, that this is going to like fulfill that need to feel connection. But it doesn't work. It's superficial. It's like having, I don't know, a hamburger on your screen. You can watch that video of that hamburger all you want, but it's never going to satisfy your hunger.
Braved female companionship and female solidarity. And of course, they also believed that they were fighting for an important cause. However, many women eventually saw through the smoke and mirrors, realized feminism was a big fat lie, and jumped ship.
Again, I think this woman is giving women a lot of credit because she seems to think that a decent amount of women have figured this out, that feminism, girl power, it's all bullshit. And I say that as someone who, I loved girl power. I love girl power, but like girl power is not like trying to meet boy power. Girl power is actually like, loving and being a girl and feminine and all these things. This creator seems to think that women have like snapped out of this brainwashing that is feminism, but I don't think that I would be here saying these things if that were true. I can see what she's saying being true in like 5 to 10 years. Like the girls that are 22 now, and they're a baddie and a single girly, and they're going out and the girls' night and the body count and like all these things. Let's see where these girls are at when they're 32. And I think that the women who are then 22 when these baddies are 32 will see that the baddies are kind of saddies now. And I think that the pendulum is going to start to switch. I think that feminism's days are numbered, but this chick seems to believe that maybe we're a little bit further along than we are. But feminism, it is just like, it's all lies. Like, I'm not going to dissect it now and here because you're going to have to watch another video to hear what I really think about feminism. I will just tell you that, like, the more I like think about it, the more stupid like the whole thing, like feminists are, it's stupid. It's the whole thing is stupid. And the only way we're going to get out of this stupid is for women to keep believing this stupid stuff until, we hit, I guess, rock bottom, until we hit the bottom of, women are clearly unhappy, maybe by 2030, when 45% of women are single, that women are going to start to wake up. So it might get a little worse before it gets better, but I'm an optimist.
Because for the gazillionth time, men and women already have equality, at least in the Western world. It's also become so insufferably intersectional that it's just a bunch of women fighting amongst each other about who is more victimized and oppressed, and who is honestly surprised that this is not appealing to the average woman. Worse, feminism pretends to care about women while simultaneously giving them the worst advice on the entire planet, such as sleep with 50,000 men, or don't get married, don't have kids, be hateful and denigrating towards men, and so on and so forth. So for the women who do wake up and eventually leave feminism, I think some of them are left with a kind of negative impression of other women, because of course it was in this female dominated atmosphere that they received such bad advice and had such bad experiences. And this could also be why, at least from what I've seen, why so many women who are former feminists are a little bit overly harsh towards their own sex. And this brings us to the other side of the coin, which is what the internet has termed the pick-me girl. I am personally not fond of this term pick me because it is very often used as an insult. Not to mention, it's used way too liberally. It does not apply in most cases. For example, they'll use it towards women who simply want to be a good girlfriend or spouse. And these, of course, are not pick me women. They're just wonderful women. It does, however, I think apply in a very, very small amount of cases. For those unaware, a pick-me girl is a woman who asserts that she is unlike and sometimes better than most other women in order to gain attention, approval, or validation from men. And as I said, unfortunately, I think a small amount of these women do exist because I have personally seen a growing movement of them on the internet. These are the types of women who spend their days calling other women disloyal, untrustworthy, gold diggers. Oh, and my personal favorite, that women nowadays, they're unable to love. I mean, you might as well just call women evil, get straight to the point, and use beating around the bush here.
Not evil. Superficial. That's the problem. Women are incredibly superficial nowadays. It's absolutely crazy. Like, I thought when I was 22, 23, 26 that I was really vain. Like, these chicks are out of control with the superficiality. It's not evil. And like, I don't have a lot of women, I don't have a lot of friends, but I don't, like, I never was part of like a group of women or like a girl group where we're all friends and we all talk, like Sex and the City, where we all meet for brunch every Saturday and everyone has their seat and we all talk. Like, It's not that I don't like women. Like, I if you're interesting and you're not a phony, like, I like you. I forget interesting. If you're not a phony, then I like you. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care if you're a woman. I like you as long as you're not a phony or superficial woman, which, depending on where you are, may be more women than not. And, I'm not a pick me girl. I don't go out of my way for like men's attention. First of all, like, I have a man, and thus I'm not like seeking external validation from anyone else but him. And I don't need to, be a pick me girl to him because like he's already chosen me. But I don't necessarily want anyone's attention, when we go out. I'm not trying to be a pick me. I'm just calling it like it is.
Of course, these women are not including themselves in the criticism. No, it's not directed at them at all, only other women, because as I said, they are not like the other girls.
I am not like the other girls. I mean, I've got 40 years of experience at this point. I'd like to think that I am pretty conscientious when I'm like out in the world. And I can say with like absolute confidence that like not only am I not like the other girls, but like I'm not like anyone. This is a unique experience to be in the Chachaverse. So, like, not to totally prove this woman right, but, I'm not like the other girls.
And are evil or that they should be targeted or anything like that, not at all. To be fair, I think actually probably a lot of these women don't even really realize how unkind or unhelpful they're being, because I, for one, I'll be the first to say that I've been guilty sometimes of being caught in an echo chamber, going too far down the rabbit hole. I think many of us have. But I think in the past, I have been guilty of being overly negative, overly harsh towards women, and generalizing too much. So I'm not here to judge. I was only comparing these two sides of the coin for the sake of this video. I really don't think that either of these extremes, either the feminists or the pick-me's, are very good, because they ultimately succeed in turning women away from seeking community with one another. Sadly, I think there have been a lot of negatives as a result of women losing this community with one another. For example, I think it's probably potentially a reason why a lot less women are interested in having children. And why is this? Because raising children requires a community. Of course, many women have husbands, but husbands, they can't be home all day doing 50-50. They're usually out working. And so this can very often lead to women becoming isolated, overwhelmed, and even depressed. This isn't how it should be. In the past, women were surrounded by other women. It was multi-generational, and they had many friends. They went through life as a community, not as an isolated individual. And trust me, even in my own experience, this makes motherhood so much easier, and it benefits the children as well. Furthermore, you also don't have the benefit of being around people who are similar to you, because men and women, we are obviously very, very different. I don't think I need to tell you that, but I mean, maybe for some people, it's not just our genitals. We have different strengths and weaknesses. We are capable of totally different things. We think totally different. So being around women, it can be a wonderful thing, because there's a sense of familiarity, stableness, safety, because we are similar. We are like one another. I personally know dozens of spectacular women.
This is the perfect image to pause this on. I think this woman has like skipped a step. It's, yes, women are more isolated than ever. However, at the same time, women seem to be more part of a hive mind than ever. Like, look at this picture. These women all think the same. They're all, it's essentially like the same woman, just like 6 copies of her. They're the same woman. So if you have like all of these female friends and such a tight community, in my opinion, you are less likely to actually know who you are. Women compare themselves to other women, at least in my experience, in my mind. Like, we can't help it. In the same way that we think about boys, like, we can't help it. Even when you don't want to think about him, you are thinking about him. Like it's something in our brains. We compare ourselves. And when you are surrounded by all of these female friends and or on the internet, you know, following all these women, you never actually take the time to develop who you are. What is your perspective? What do you think? Because you might actually think something different than your friends, but you may never realize it because you were so used to just kind of the group think of it all that it never even occurs to you to question what they're saying. And I'm not saying that what they're saying is bad or wrong. It may just not be like what's right for you. For example, I am from the East Coast. I live in California now, but I'm from the East Coast. And after college, I moved to New York City. I lived there for like 8 years. And it wasn't until like I was like 26, 27, where all of a sudden, like I just had this epiphany that like, whoa, like winter is a choice. Like you don't have to do winter. I could move somewhere that like doesn't have winter. And it wasn't like everyone around me, like, you know, loved winter and was like proactively choosing winter. It was more that, you know, that's just like the status quo of what it was. And it never even occurred to me to like question it. And so I'm just saying that, yeah, it's great to have friends, but women hanging out with women is not necessarily like the answer to this problem, because if we want women to like wake up from the feminist tailspin, we're gonna have to like separate them.
So the point of this video is basically just to highlight something very important that I think we've lost, and that is to have a community of women who are helping each other through life. Enough of this hating on one another or creating these deceitful, harmful movements to bring us together, you know, for this artificial cause that's just a big lie in the end. We don't need any ideological cause or reason to bring us together. We shouldn't anyway. Research actually indicates that women with strong female friendships are happier and healthier overall. So I think it's significant that we're there for one another, not just when things are bad and we need someone to talk to, but to share in the positive events of our lives as well. A lot of women are amazing, and I just think it would be a real shame if we missed out on the wonderful friendships we could have with one another. Thank you so much for watching, everyone.
Okay, so very interesting. We now are hearing a different side of the story from our last episode, where we were being told that women are happier. I don't know. She showed us some studies in the beginning showing that, you know, single women are happier. But as the video played, I'm not so sure that she like actually proved that point. But last week we were told that women are happy, and this week we're being told that women are not happy. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a beat. Okay, tchotchkes, until next time, keep calm and cha-cha on. Cha-cha.